Ready?
Go. Hello, nice sunny Sunday morning, just gone 11 o'clock. Today's job, who's folded that mail up anyway? Today's job is a little bit of wiring, so as you probably know from some Tiffany's other videos, we've got the snooper sat nav that originally was mine when I was HGV driving, but it's perfect for this. Usually it's plugged into the cigarette socket. What I'm going to do today is hardwire that into the system, going through the fuse box, or failing that, run a couple of wires from the engine compartment into here, and then we'll tap various fuses off of that to power things up. The other thing we're going to hardwire, we got this 4 socket auxiliary 12 volt socket jobby. It's currently running into the vehicle's cigarette socket again, to release that socket and also make this more compatible to stuff. The only one that will be staying in is the solar. In fact, actually no, I might even hardwire the solar straight to the engine battery, and that would do away with this cable as well. But basically that's 1, 2, 3 things we're hopefully going to hardwire. The other thing is hopefully, again, if you remember from one of the previous videos, I fitted LED spot lamps and LED fog lamps with the tracer rings to the front. So we'll wire those up. The spot lamps will be wired up so they go on when the high beam's on, and the fog lamps, I actually bought some fog lamp switches, not realised that we've got a back fog lamp switch, but it doesn't matter, that works for back fog lamps. So I'll be fitting an extra fog lamp switch somewhere on the dashboard on my side, and that will work the front fog lamps, which again will give us the option to actually have them on or off independently of the back. I know some people would probably tap straight into that one and say, well, if you need to have your back fog lamps on, you should have your front fog lamps on, but there are occasions when it's handy to be able to have one, not the other. So I'll be doing that. So yeah, so today's wiring day. So we'll catch you later. I'm just gonna check everything over, get the bonnet popped, and see how I'm gonna go on. Okay, at some point our videoing will change from the current system, which is the iPad, to the cameras and mics that we've actually got stored up in the locker that really need to be used. Yeah, we've bought and we've spent the money on them. We've actually upgraded the camera to a decent one. I think it's one of the DSIs. So we should really be using the stuff that we've bought, and hopefully that will improve the quality of things, such as the actual sort of audio content as well, because we'll actually be wearing mics, so you'll hear us clearer. It would have worked out perfectly on that day when it was windy as it could be in this wind tunnel that is where Tiffany's motorhome lives, when we were pulling that bearing hub off. But yeah, we need to get them charged up, working. We need to do it before we take the 2 weeks in France, because France will be the perfect scenario for using them, because we're going to be wandering around, and if we can actually independently do footage as well, because I think we've got a GoPro copy up there as well. So if we can independently be going around seeing stuff, there's going to be more content, either in one video, or we could actually make it into 2 videos. But yeah, it's just going to be a lot better, and hopefully that'll boost the footfall, inverted commas, of the actual channel. and get us those much needed subscribers so that Tiffany can actually start doing things like selling her little Tiffany 3D printed doggies and that.
Have we got one here?
We have, it's in the windscreen, glued into the windscreen if you pass that over.
So we can show people what they like.
That's its bum. I will actually go out to front. You'll have to excuse the noise. I've wired the generator up ready for doing lots and lots of soldering, so you'll hear the generator buzzing away. There. And that's the front view. So those are the 3D printed Tiffany's. Okie doke, so I will hand this back to Julie, and like I say, we'll report back in a bit and let you know how we're getting on. Ready? Yeah. Right. So you join us back again, and as you can see, we've detached the detachable steering wheel. Brilliant idea. Took the vent out that my cup holder normally sits on, and we've also topped the top of the panel off. We've taken the 12-volt socket off the bottom of the snooper. We've also taken the 12-volt SIGGI socket connection for that. With the bent off, I've now moved the wires around where the bent will be, drilled a hole to get it into the underside so it keeps everything neat and tidy, and so I've also fetched two heavy duty cables through, a positive and negative, through a grommet in the passenger side of the bulkhead because I couldn't see any on the driver's side. So next thing is we'll either thread that up to this space, or we'll thread these down to there, probably thread that up into this space and then make all the connections. I'll probably go with a fuse box inside, well, a fuse holder inside the engine bay for simplicity regards. If we pop a fuse, I haven't got to take half the dashboard apart to replace the fuse. We just need to go under the bonnet. In theory we shouldn't blow a fuse because we're not running anything heavy duty. Currently the solar panel that's stuck onto the windscreen is unplugged as well, because we don't want to be putting power through these wires when we're messing around with them. Like I say, because this solar panel has its own little controller and has wires that you can attach and detach, what I will do is I will get appropriate grade of wire in, and I will actually run a fresh set of wires, get that down through the same set of holes, and tag it onto this cable as well, because this cable is going to be going straight to the battery. So because the 12-volt socket in this vehicle is permanently live, so it's not going to hurt having everything else. Plus, if the solar's on a permanently live cable, it's hopefully going to keep the battery topped up. We have got a new battery to put in there because we don't know the age of this one, and it does sometimes have a bit of a mivvy and let us down, so it's probably better to replace it. So we've got a nice brand new one sitting at home. When I fit that one, I have got a positive and negative version of a multi-way terminal, so we can actually spread the load of all the devices we've got attached across 3 parts. It's like a buzz bar, nice big chunky, and 2 less chunky, so we can actually put all the cables that are currently all scrunched together, we can spread them out. Same on the negative side, and that will hopefully make things look a bit more tidy in there and get the job sorted. Right, I will now finish there while I get back under the dashboard, which should be boring for yourselves. Feed that wire up into this space, and then we can start doing a bit of connecting up. Like I say, the the quickest route for that is I will run a fresh cable, so as we can then follow it down. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to follow it down, whether I'm going to use enough cable that I can actually trace it round under the, like I've done with these wires, trace it under the headlining, down the pillar, and then across, and then in. That's going to be the neatest, because we don't really want a wire just flapping around in front of us, especially in front of the next base dash cam. So just to neaten things up, I'll probably have a longer wire, but it'll come round. So that's it for now. We will crap on and get these wires starting into place. Bye for now. Right, so hardwiring. Solar's now hardwired to the battery, and we can tell that because the controller is now reading, which at the moment is 11.6 because the bonnet's up defending the solar panel. Obviously we hardwired the snooper because that's just come on. I've just checked the connection in there. If I just plug in any old thing and it's got a light, little light comes on, light goes off. So that's now live. So yeah, so now everything in here is hardwired. There's a 10 amp fuse under the bonnet, which should be adequate. I don't think it's going to be over the top, so I don't think we're going to be burning stuff out before the fuse goes. When you think that this potentially could be running 4 items, plus there's 2 USBs on this one, you can actually run 2 USBs off the controller if you so wish. So yeah, the wires for this are running around the headlining, down this pillar, across the dash, and then into the connections which are all down here. So that's that hard wiring done. So now I'll reassemble the vent there, which got the cup holder on. I'll put the lid back onto the fuse box slash glove box. Again, a brilliant sort of thing that Decathlon, well, Fiat have done with that. The actual lid you can pop off by sliding a couple of brackets that actually withdraw the pins that create the hinge. That is absolutely brilliant. Well and truly thought out, that is. Hey, up to, yeah, you can switch off, you know. Honest, that's it. So yeah, so that's all that hard wiring done. So now, and again, we can prove that we're connected because the cab fans are working. And the snooper's determined it's going to want to stay on. Okay, well, normally, yep, system will turn off power. That's what I want you to do. Thank you. So there you go. So that's the hard wiring done. Everything's neat and tidy. Apart from the fact the snooper wants to come on yet again. Everything's neat and tidy. No wires flying around everywhere. Job sorted. So like I say, we now need to stop that doing that. So now all we need to do is reassemble the cowling for the steering column, steering wheel back on, glove box lid back on, and just tidy all the grot up from the floor. And that's inside here done, and then we'll have a look at the list, which I think is wiring up the spotlights and the front fog lamps. I don't know why that's playing silly monkeys. Yes, we know.
So we've done all the
hard wiring inside's
hardwiring
done. Yeah, the hard wiring inside's done. So it is now the lights, which the only other thing we've got to do is put a switch in here for the front fog lamps. Like I say, the spot lamps will be working off the high beam, and the front fog lamps will have their own independent switch. So that's it for now. I'll catch you in a little while when we start doing the spots and the fogs on the front. So I'll just reassemble this, which again, I'm sure you don't really want to see me put in an air vent and a glove box hatch back on. So we'll skip you having to look at that. Bye for now.
Everything is now back in place. We've got no wire there dangling down, as everything has now been hardwired, and it looks a lot better. And that's everything is done what needed hardwiring. Now Chrissy's gone outside to do the spotlights.
Right, so these are the spot lamps, which will be wired into the main beams. I don't know why I'm doing this. This will be wired that I don't need. So next thing we'll probably have to do is figure out which is the main beam wire. I think it's purple on these, but I'm not sure, so we'll have to check. One thing I do need to do is make this into a loom. So I will loom it up. But before I go too far, I'll actually touch the wires on the battery so you can see the brightness of the lamps. Let me just loom this up first. Keep everything neat and tidy. We don't have scraggy bits where we can. Both lights are fitted with waterproof plugs, so for instance when we have to disassemble the bumper off to do the little bit of welding work underneath the front, we can literally disconnect the lights. So they're still attached to the bumper but they're not attached to the vehicle, and that will allow us to take the entire bumper off, doing exactly the same with the front fogs. So like I say, just get a little bit of a loom going there, just enough to do the job. It should be that. That should be more than enough. So what I'll do before I cut that, I will show you what they light up like when they are connected. Stick that into there. And there we go. Two nice bright spot lamps. Hopefully they'll help out a bit. Not that the lights are bad on this. The high beam and low beam exceptionally good, but if we can just have that extra bit of illumination, and it also doubles up that if you do need to use your main beams as a warner, we've got 4 lights lighting up to warn people, yes we are coming, please don't pull out and hit us or whatever, or you're on the wrong side of the road, please get onto the right side of the road. So yeah, so next thing is we'll strike the motor up and we will look at which of the wires in the back of the headlamp is the high beam, and tap the positive of this circuit onto there, and then put the negative to an earth, most likely the battery earth. Why not? It's the best earth in the bus. So yep, so we'll have to stop filming there because Julie will have to be on the key in the cab so as we can pace out these headlamps. So that's it for now. Okay, this is the finished result. So that's everything on. So it's high beams with the spots and the fogs are on. So I go round. off. So now we've just got the fogs. So if I then come round, and we've now just got the halos on the fogs. So yeah, that's the front auxiliary lights all wired up. I'll show you where the switch is for the fogs. That's the fog light switch there for the front fogs. So yep, and nice tidy wiring. There we are. It's hard to say anything's any different to what it normally is. I've put little labels on quite a fuses, so as we know which fuse is for what. Should one blow, got nice tidy layout. Slightly, it's the case of not much to see here. So that's front fogs, front spots, all finished. Bye for now.